Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my review for the final episode, or double episodes, for Fear the Walking Dead Season 2. This is for the big finale, Wrath and North. And major spoiler warning if you guys have not seen this double finale yet. This one was really incredible. I'm really surprised that AMC decided to put these two together, Wrath and North. Really, they didn't need to, if you think of it. I mean, this was a pretty incredible double finale. If you look at where the previous episode left off, where we have our group at the hotel, you have Nick and Luciana and Alejandro at the Colonia, and then you have Alycia out there on her own. This one's pretty nuts with where we actually end up at this point. And I forgot about Strand too as well. He's off on his own now too with the hotel group. So this one was pretty crazy, man, all the way through. And both of these stand on their own as great episodes. If I had to pick one, probably the climax for me has to be Wrath, when we see the end of Wrath with Travis. I mean, that for me is like the highlight of both of these episodes, when Travis just loses his mind. And at first I was like complaining about it. I was like, well, why, in my mind as I'm watching, I'm like, why wouldn't you show us Chris's death like that? Like, why wouldn't we get to see it? Because it could be, it's a big death, everything like that. Why wouldn't you show it to us in the car accident? But then the way they did it was even more well handled than just showing it to us in sequential order. What we see it from is we see potentials as Travis's mind tries to connect the dots as to what happened with Chris and the real truth behind it. When he gets the truth out of Brandon and Derek, he totally loses control of himself completely. He goes full on, id-based crazy, and he just beats them both to death. This was one of the most exciting sequences. I mean, my heart was just pounding when I was watching this. In Fear of the Walking, for sure, this is probably my favorite scene in Fear the Walking Dead that we've ever had, because as I said in my previous reviews, Travis is my favorite character. He is even more my favorite character in Fear now. Like he has gapped it even further. He has gotten ahead as pretty much my favorite standout character for me. Everyone's got their favorites. A lot of people like Nick. For me, Travis is my favorite now after seeing this double finale. He goes totally nuts and he beats them both to death at the same time. Locking the door, and man, I mean, that was really well done. You see him, he's like sitting there after, and you've got kind of the slow-mo and everything. You've got the memory being built and the potentials, and then figuring out, oh yeah, that's within character for you, Brandon, you told me the truth. And then he proceeds to beat them both to death. And then he actually kills a third in the process of it, totally loses it. And if you haven't kind of lost your mind, sometimes you can be surprised by how strong you can actually be. And I felt like it made sense because Oscar was going in and he gets basically door jammed, right, or in between by Travis as it's going through. And that was a pretty sad scene afterwards too, when they go to try to reduce the swelling in his brain and it doesn't work. He ends up dying too. So Travis has a triple kill in this episode, with finding out that Chris is our large death for this finale. Chris is the big death for this finale, which we kind of, I mean, we didn't know for sure, but it made a lot of sense that they would go that route because you have the actor who's going to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. So we kind of knew, like, okay, I just felt like maybe it's too obvious. Maybe they won't go with that. Maybe they'll go with someone else. But yeah, he was definitely near the top list of somebody who we kind of thought like it could be. So the way it all plays out and getting to see this huge change in Travis, this huge shift in Travis, is one of the highlights of Fear for me, probably the highlight. I mean, this was like end of season 2, The Walking Dead. You have Rick, who he changes drastically when he has to kill his best friend, when he has to kill Shane. This one is out of so much pain from losing his son and holding them responsible for it. Travis just totally goes nuts and beats them both. It was pretty incredible, especially when he starts putting the boots to them to finish them off. I was like, okay, yeah, he's going to kill him for sure. Because, I mean, that's one thing you got to be careful for, unless you want to kill somebody. If you stop them when they're down, it's, brutal. So it was a brutal scene, but it was, as a character transformation, was amazing for Travis, I think, and it really sets him up to be a force to be reckoned with in the zombie apocalypse. Because now that he has done that, he's got the intelligence, right? He's really, really smart. I feel like he's pretty good leader too as well when he needs to be. Of course, Madison is kind of in that role as well too. They kind of share it, I suppose. And man, this was a very heartfelt, tragic type of moment for him. That enormous amount of pain increases the aggressive drive to just take over level, and he just absolutely loses his mind and kills them both. So that for me is definitely the highlight of the episode. I love the sequence. It's one of the best in Fear, and it can rival some of the better scenes in The Walking Dead, the original series. Some might have even liked it better than some of the stuff. Like, I didn't think they'd be able to even touch the Shane versus Rick. That's kind of iconic nostalgia wise in my mind as like one of the best kind of one versus one type of situations, one of the most epic kills in all of TV. This one for me, I'm not going to say it surpassed it, but it was incredible. It was also incredible, and at least you can make the conversation that maybe this could be. It was really nuts. So that for me was the standout from the episodes, the double episodes. So that's with Travis there. So of course after that, let's start with the hotel, and then we'll go to the other locations. We'll do this based on location. So we have that happening with Travis. We have Strand, who decides to stay there. Right, he decides to go, and he'll be okay. I was kind of upset by that. I'm like, I want to see Strand go with the group because Strand is such a cool character. He's very useful as well, too. But he's heard that time. Maybe he feels like he kind of does what's best for Strand. Strand is kind of on his own team, as he always has been. And we've kind of always known that. And then we have the others that go after him. Another scene that was actually kind of crazy, too, is when Hector and the others go after, Travis for what he did. They start beating him up and everything like that. And then we have Alycia, who stabs the one with the gun, which was also pretty crazy. And then Strand interrupts. Another very exciting sequence, and then they're able to escape. They're able to get out of there. So it sounds like that's probably it for the hotel. And I'm not sure if in this episode they're trying to kind of get everyone back on a direction back to the States and have kind of their stint in Mexico sort of be like a season thing, kind of like you had the first half of the season for Fear on the Abigail. The second half is kind of in Mexico. And then maybe season 3, season 4, we may see them back in the States. So we'll see what happens with that. But I like the hotel as a location. It was pretty good. And hopefully we'll get to see Strand in the future there. Maybe he'll decide to leave. Maybe they'll kick him out. Maybe he'll be exiled. I wouldn't be surprised by that. And maybe he'll, in turn, come back into the show in season 3 and find our main group. So that's everything at the hotel for the most part. It was all exciting. It was crazy, and I loved it. It's probably the highlight for me. The stuff with the Colonia. I also felt that the kind of invasion of the Colonia was pretty exciting as well, too. We have Marco and the gang who goes through. I did like their kind of strategy where they decided to sort of handle it like a bug trap or something where they can get in, but then they can't get out. So Marco and the gang goes in, and they get in fairly easily. They don't have as hard of a time as I thought they would have, but that, of course, is because they just have to deal with the walkers around, and they don't have to deal with anybody shooting at them as they're trying to get through the wall, which is kind of what I was expecting, and I think most of us probably were expecting, is that when they went in, you'd have kind of the zombies that'd be on top of them, they'd be shooting them, and then from maybe another angle or something, they'd be getting shot at by our defending group. So I did like the strategy that Nick, Alejandro, and Luciana used to defend the Colonia, which almost kind of was not to defend it, to let them in, but then, of course, them getting trapped, them running out of ammo, it seems, and then being killed by all of the wall zombies that were there because they were backs to the wall and they were not able to get out. So that was pretty good, and I thought it was pretty epic to see. Some of the CG there was a little questionable, I feel like, but aside from that, it was pretty good. It was handled pretty well. They also did set up Marco as a pretty good bad guy because they had, of course, the small family there that was killed that Madison, Travis, and Alycia found. So it was pretty justified to see them actually get totally wiped out. It would have been cooler if maybe they would have shown some of the zombies, them fighting back against the zombies, and how the zombies were able to finally get them. But that said, they crammed a lot into this double finale already, and there was a lot of really cool stuff. Zombie Kill of the Week, I'd have to go with earlier on at the Colonia, where you have Nick, where he stuffs his fingers in the eyes of the zombie. It's like, oh my god. But if you think of it, because of course how hard your skull is and everything, the easiest way to get to the brain might be through Maybe through the eyes. Brutal. So that was pretty cool. I did feel like Alejandro's final moments in the series were good, and that he did kind of achieve the greatness that he wanted to be as a man, at least for his people. Be it as he stayed behind and kind of put himself in harm's way to sacrifice himself. Really, he was dying anyway, but in his death to sacrifice himself along with the wall, as many of the others did when they were dying. They would give themselves to the wall and join. He kind of joined in his own way. He leads the wall out, and I thought that was pretty smart that it all worked out that way. And it was pretty exciting when he turns on the gas and everything, and they hear it, and then he drives through. And also pretty cool that you had Travis, Alycia, and Madison actually find him afterwards and at least get one word with him before Madison ends up being the one that actually puts him down. She has a lot of putting characters down in this one, which was pretty good, and it was good for our final sequence, head to the border. So now we'll discuss more in the predictions video in about an hour when I post that. But we have, Nick and the group. They headed towards the border. They, of course, were kind of ganked by some kind of American, maybe a group of villains there that shoot at them. Luciana gets shot once, and you have them both who get captured, whereas a good number of the people are able to get away and run the other way. But, those two were not, and there was a couple that were killed as well. Yeah, so man, I really liked kind of how the whole thing kind of worked out, and how it was kind of a twist that you could, as you see it, you can kind of expect it. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know. But then when you see Alejandro drive the bus up, it was pretty well handled. It was pretty good. We had this stuff with Ophelia. So with Ophelia, she also gets captured as she's trying to cross the border by what it looks like is the same group as Nick and Luciana were, because the gear looked the same to me. So we'll see what happens with that, and if she's able to get reunited with her other group that way. We didn't get to see Daniel, which I was expecting to see and I thought made sense. So now that it's been half a season, are we to assume he's dead now? Seems like it, but you never know for sure. It's a TV series. They could always bring him back in season 3 or something, or have him maybe have run into the same group at the border or something. I don't know. We'll discuss that more in the predictions video, but I was a little bit surprised that we didn't get to see him. So is this the end of the time that we have in the series in Mexico? We'll have to see. Of course, we still have Strand, who's still at the hotel, and he hasn't left because, him being on his own side and everything. So we'll see if he gets kicked out or something, if he ends up meeting with the rest of our group at the border, and they all kind of get captured together, and it can be some kind of terminus situation. Maybe Strand will be our Carol and help the others escape or something. I don't know. Pretty tricky, but we'll see what happens with that. And let's see. So some good scenes between Alejandro, Luciana, and Nick as they're kind of debating what to do. You've got kind of the speech, which I felt was pretty good. The loss of the hope, so to speak, but the faith is able to keep alive as they leave, and just under a new leader, so to speak. And I thought it was pretty epic for the most part. It was pretty good to see everything go through. Like I said, just maybe a little bit more zombie killing Marco and his group action there. I would have liked to have seen. So all in all, I thought it was an awesome double finale. That's, it's good to see a lot of deaths if you think of it. You've got the death of Derek, you've got the death of Brandon, you've got the death of Chris, death of Alejandro, and let's see, I'm probably missing, there's other characters in there too that have been killed off as well. But yeah, man, it was a pretty nuts finale. So I liked it. Double finale was great to see. I'm glad AMC did that, because then we got both of them together, and I can't wait to watch it over again, because it was so great. Because there's a lot, there's just so much change. We're so used to this half, we see the group there in different locations and stuff, and now it's like everybody's been shifted. So pretty nuts. In terms of the score, I'm going to give this one a 9.1 out of 10. I do think it is one of the best, episodes. If you consider it one episode, it's one of the best they've done in the series for sure. I'd put it right up there with the season 1 finale, and definitely the part with Travis I thought was standout from the series for sure. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him in the future. It's going to be fantastic, man. It's going to be great. So, 9.1 out of 10 for me. Love the finale. Love this season of Fear. Thought it was great. Going to be excited to buy that on this winter. Last year it came out around the winter time, so we'll see when the release date is for the Blu-ray, but I'll be excited to get that. And really excited for Season 3 for Fear. So we'll do the predictions video now, and it'll be posted for you guys in about an hour. If you guys liked this review, and also let me know what you thought about this half, seeing the group in Mexico and everything and how it all worked out, and what you thought of this double finale. I think with Fear, it has some slower episodes, but when it's on, man, it's on. And I felt like this double finale, it was definitely on. And man, it was really great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So write your comments below on what you guys thought. What was the best part of the double episodes for you? Everyone has different favorite characters in that. So what was your favorite part? And if you liked this review, please don't forget to thumb it up, guys. Always appreciate it. You can also share. You got a Facebook, you wouldn't mind. I thank you for it. Share through to Facebook. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, to go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you guys again soon for my predictions of what I think is going to happen in Season 3. That's it for this video, guys. See you again soon. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.